Hello, Jack. I saw your video. Regards heaven. I'd sooner be dead. Improved audio. And I suspect it will not be well received by Noel, Nick, or Ashley because you missed the real point of their videos. These guys are atheists. So whether you call it heaven or being with God, it's not going to address their real underlying questions, which are more about human nature than about theology, God, or heaven. Here, listen carefully to how Nick and Ashley actually address this question.
Being in a place of eternal bliss, how can you actually know what that bliss is without experiencing some pain? And vice versa when you're in hell without experiencing some type of pleasure. And maybe this is, again, what you were getting at with the numbness thing. If it's going to be increasingly excruciating pain or increasing bliss, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. I don't think heaven would be any worse than hell, or vice versa, just because of the whole, you can't really know what bliss is without having experienced pain. And maybe then the argument would be from the Christian side, well, you experienced that when you were alive, but if you were that nanosecond of your lifespan and then go on to eternity of experiencing another thing, I would imagine that one would forget what that pleasure or pain used to be like.
Ashley basically said that she doesn't think you could enjoy heaven because she thinks that it's impossible to have bliss, to have pleasurable, happy experiences for an extended period of time without painful ones interspersed, so that you have like a frame of reference. I don't think I agree with this. I don't think you need to have painful experiences to have pleasurable ones. I don't think pleasurable experiences are measured by contrast to painful ones. For example, when was the last time you had sex with someone who was going, oh yeah, this is so much better than that root canal I had at the dentist on Tuesday.
Your theology is pointless to them because the heaven and hell they are talking about is part of a literary tradition, not a theological one. They may not know this, however. There is an old Twilight Zone episode that sort of gets at Ashley's point and demonstrates how writers have used this concept of heaven and hell. The protagonist is a gangster who, after he dies, thinks he has been sent to heaven. An angel shows him how he can get all the beautiful women he wants, win at every game of casino he tries, rob every bank in town, etc. He enjoys this for a while. He plays at the casino, he wins. He wants a woman, she'll sleep with him. Eventually, he gets bored with this state of affairs, though, and he asks the angel for some challenge and occasional failure so that he actually feels like he's earning his reward. Nope, says the angel, can't do that. The gangster says, it's no good. I can't enjoy this.
I don't think I belong here. I don't think I fit in.
Oh, nonsense. Of course you do.
Oh, no, I mean it. It's just somebody must have goofed. If I gotta stay here another day, I'm gonna go nuts. Look, I don't belong in heaven, see? I want to go to the other place.
Heaven? Whatever gave you the idea you were in heaven, Mr. Valentine? This is the other place.
A scared, angry little man who never got a break. Now he has everything he's ever wanted. And he's going to have to live with it for eternity. In the Twilight Zone.
That is the paradox lying at the heart of the human condition. In order to understand it, you might want to put aside your preaching about God and heaven and just address the paradox in another way, in terms of other questions, not about heaven or God. Why do men climb Mount Everest? What is wrong with heroin addiction if the addicts get such pleasure from it? Those questions will ultimately also address the paradox. This is not the way to address that question.
So, you're more concerned with time and eternity and memories, questions, to which you've given your own answers. And that's like I said, I think it's a straw man. For me, heaven is about abiding with the Creator. There's no greater joy. You, the viewer, some of you, have this sense of expectation that I, the Christian, when I respond, should be responding to these questions because you consider them to be valid questions.
Care to explain how Noel's or Nick's or Ashley's questions are invalid? I think their questions are valid, and you should be able to answer them.
I consider the questions to not be valid because they're not based upon my understanding of heaven. Rather, they're based upon his understanding of heaven. And as such, he is using a language and a framework that is not my own. And the questions are not one that makes sense to me.
If those questions don't make sense to you, then I have to wonder if perhaps Christianity has caused you some sort of brain damage. Like I said before, maybe what you have to do to get at the underlying question is to forget that it's about your heaven and your theology and think of it in terms of what do we gain from all the various forms of pain, sadness, and other negative experiences that we have during life. Are they useless? I don't think they are. In the end, pain and suffering are what give us compassion, knowledge, strength, and more. In the end, this pain is what makes us fully human. Do you doubt this? If you don't, then you must realize that to say no to pain is ultimately to say no to compassion, knowledge, and strength. Now, how do you see that question?